Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling.
What if one quiet decision, one silent step back, could completely reshape the destiny of a drama, and perhaps even reopen a story that was never truly finished? What if this is not just about casting, not just about schedules or contracts, but something far more subtle? Something that feels almost like timing, like coincidence, like fate, quietly rearranging the pieces behind the scenes. Because right now, across entertainment circles, one question is being asked again and again, not loudly, but persistently. Is Liu Yifei truly happy about this? And more importantly, why does his name suddenly feel so connected to Zhao Lusi once again? Nothing has been officially confirmed. No formal announcements, no polished posters, no dramatic reveals. And yet, the silence itself has become louder than any statement. Because when Liu Yifei, a name that carries immense cinematic weight, is whispered to be stepping away from Yansanhe, and Zhao Lusi is quietly linked to stepping in, it does not feel like a simple replacement. It feels like a shift, a transformation, a story rewriting itself before it even begins. The moment Zhao Lusi's name surfaced, the tone of the entire project seemed to change. Not drastically, not abruptly, but subtly, almost like a different light being cast over the same landscape. With Liu Yifei, the expectation leaned towards something grand, something iconic, a narrative carried by presence and legacy. But with Zhao Lusi, the energy becomes more intimate, more emotionally textured, more human. She does not simply portray characters, she allows them to breathe, to fracture, to quietly endure. And that shift alone has already sparked a wave of discussion. Because suddenly, Yansanhe is no longer just a suspense fantasy drama. It becomes a story about feeling, about unfinished emotions, about connections that linger between worlds. And then, just as audiences begin to process that possibility, another name enters the conversation: Liu Yifei. Not with a grand entrance, not with headlines claiming certainty, but with a quiet mention that carries unexpected weight. Because Liu Yifei is not just another actor attached to a project. He represents something more elusive, a presence that often exists at the edge of emotion, close enough to touch the story, yet distant enough to leave a lasting echo. And when his name appears alongside Zhao Lusi's, it does something unusual. It does not create noise, it creates memory. Audiences begin to look back, not because they are told to, but because something in this pairing feels familiar. There is a certain rhythm between Zhao Lusi and Liu Yifei that does not rely on dramatic declarations. Their connection, as remembered by viewers, exists in pauses, in glances, in moments where silence seems to carry more meaning than words. It is not overwhelming. It is not explosive. It is restrained, almost fragile, and perhaps that is why it lingers longer in the mind. So when people ask whether Liu Yifei is happy, they are not really asking about his personal reaction. They are asking something deeper. They are asking whether this quiet, almost unfinished dynamic might find its way back onto the screen. At the same time, the industry context cannot be ignored. Projects of this scale do not shift without reason. When a figure like Liu Yifei is involved, Expectations are not only high, they are carefully structured. Every element, from co-stars to production direction, must align perfectly. If that alignment becomes difficult, the project does not necessarily fall apart. It evolves. And perhaps that is what we are witnessing now. Not a disruption, but a recalibration. Zhao Lusi's potential involvement does not diminish the project. Instead, it redirects it, guiding it toward a more emotionally driven narrative space, one that prioritizes connection over spectacle, nuance over grandeur. There is also an interesting emotional undercurrent driving audience engagement. This is not a story built on certainty. In fact, its power comes precisely from the lack of confirmation. Viewers are not being told what is happening. They are being invited to imagine what could happen. And in that space between possibility and reality, something compelling begins to form. It becomes less about facts and more about feeling, less about outcomes and more about anticipation. This is where the story truly gains momentum. Another layer that adds to the intrigue is timing. Earlier this year, Zhao Lusi casually mentioned her interest in exploring suspense-driven projects. At the time, it felt like a passing comment, a simple expression of artistic curiosity. But now, in hindsight, it feels almost like a quiet signal, something that gains meaning only when placed within the current context. Whether intentional or not, it adds depth to the narrative, making the rumor feel less random and more aligned. And then there is the nature of Yansanhe itself. This is not a conventional drama. It is built around themes that are inherently emotional. The interaction between the living and the unseen, the idea of unresolved feelings crossing boundaries, the concept of healing through connection. These are not surface-level elements. They require a certain sensitivity in performance, a willingness to explore vulnerability. In that sense, Zhao Lusi's involvement feels less like a replacement and more like a reinterpretation, a different lens through which the same story can be told. As for Liu Yifei, his potential role, even if limited, carries symbolic weight. He embodies a kind of emotional resonance that does not demand center stage. His presence often enhances the atmosphere of a story, adding layers rather than overtaking them. If he were to appear alongside Zhao Lusi again, it would not necessarily redefine the narrative, but it could deepen it, giving audiences something subtle yet memorable to hold on to. Right now, everything remains suspended. No confirmations, no denials, only speculation. But sometimes, the most powerful stories begin exactly like this. Not with certainty, but with a feeling that something meaningful might be unfolding just beyond reach. And perhaps that is why this particular rumor has captured so much attention. It is not simply about who will star in a drama. It is about what that combination might represent. A reunion, a continuation, or perhaps just a fleeting moment that reminds audiences why they became invested in these stories in the first place. If this casting does come together, it could offer a narrative rich in emotional depth, shaped not only by the script, but by the quiet history between its performers. And if it does not, the impact of this moment still remains, because it has already revealed something important about what audiences are searching for now. Not just spectacle, not just perfection, but authenticity. Imperfect connections, unspoken emotions, and stories that linger long after they end. And perhaps that is the real question hidden beneath everything. Not whether Liu Yifei is happy, not whether Zhao Lusi will take the role, but whether this moment, however uncertain, has already created a story of its own. If you've enjoyed exploring this unfolding story with us, don't forget to subscribe to Update X 24 Hours for more deep dives into the most intriguing moments in the entertainment world. Your support helps us continue bringing you thoughtful, engaging content that goes beyond the surface. Thank you for watching, and stay with us as we continue to follow every subtle shift, every quiet rumor, and every story waiting to be told.